Hey everyone, it's Megan with AboveRubyStudio.com. Thank you so much for joining me for another Tuesday tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make some paper rosettes, and I'm going to be doing some different kind of things, and we're going to make a simple card. This is paper from the new Club Ruby Designers kit that Club Ruby has come out with. It's paper, My Mind's Eye, Fine and Dandy. We have some Cutmates paper, and we have some different things. I'm going to be using a Score Buddy, which is the miniature score pal. It's more for card makers and things like that. And I have a few other tools and odds and ends that we're going to be working with today to create a pretty simple card. I just wanted to share some of this information. We're going to be doing a class at the end of the month with Club Ruby Designers, and we're going to be talking about all different kinds of paper flowers, paper rosettes, ribbon rosettes, and how to create a whole bunch of different looks in that class. So this is sort of a intro to that. We're going to do this very quickly, very simply. What I do in making paper rosettes is I basically take my sheet of paper, doesn't matter how big it is, but basically I never have it wider than like an inch to an inch and a half, but 3/4 of an inch is really pretty good. What I do is I put it in my Score Buddy. 6 inches, it really doesn't need to be any longer than that, so this works really well. And I just score it at a 1/4 inch mark all the way across. So every 1/4 inch I'm just scoring right on my line. You just hold it in there tightly and you score all the way down. And this Score Buddy is available at craftycorner.com. If you're interested in checking out the Score Buddy or the Score Pal, they're available there. So then what I do is once I do my whole strip of paper, I take my paper trimmer and then I start cutting them into 3/4 inch strips or 1/2 inch strips or whatever I want to do. So you just trim your strips. You can go to an inch, you know, basically whatever you want to work with, whatever size you want to work with. Keep it pretty straight. I have 3 there. And then once that's done, all you do is accordion fold it. And it's really simple because you have your score marks already in there. And you just zigzag back and forth. Now I created these because I recently purchased the Tim Holtz Rosette die cut, which is pretty cool actually. Let me show it to you. This is what it looks like, and it cuts out the center pieces and all the things around it, and it has a little bit more of a scalloped edge, a little bit more decorative. It's pretty cool. So you can check that out, and it runs through the long. You need the long plates to run it through, either the Cuttlebug or the Sizzix, the Big Shot, the Vagabond, any one of those really cool die cutting embossing machines. So anyway, I recently picked that up and you know, basically figured out how to make them without purchasing the die. But the die does make it a little bit easier. You don't have to score and do all that. You can, you know, makes it a little bit less thought if you really want to make a lot of these. And there's 2 sizes in this one die as well. So anyway, alright, so I got my accordion fold in here. And now that I did that, I am going to need to glue these ends together. And what I do is I just trim off one side so that I can really nest these things inside of each other here. So I just basically take my glue right along the inside here. Quick dry glue is really what you want to work with. This is the Tombow Mono Multi Glue, and it works okay. But like a Scotch Quick Dry is really a good glue to use when you're doing these, or a glue gun, because you want something that's really going to grip kind of quick. Alright, so we're going to set this aside to dry. Okay. Now once it's dry, you're just going to gather your points together and just sort of press it down in the middle and bend it out. Okay, and this is going to create your little rosette. Now I'm going to flip it over because I want the yellow side to be the side that we work with. So I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to place a drop of glue in there, in that little circle. And then I just grab a circular pop dot. Now you're going to need to still wait for this to dry, but I just grab a pop dot because it gives me my instant dimension. I don't need to cut out different size circles or any other kind of base. My pop dot is going to be my base for these. Alright, so you put your glue in, you squinch it together, and you put your pop dot down. Okay, you just want to hold that in place until the glue kind of starts to harden a little bit, or place something hard on top of it, and that will be your rosette. So I'm going to set this aside with something on top of it. I have a couple that are already dry, or drying, a little bit more like this. Okay, so pretty basic, really easy to do. And like I said, there's going to be an entire class at Club Ruby Designers where we're going to teach a little bit more about paper rosettes and different types of rosettes that you can make. So if you're interested in that, you can go ahead and pick up your Club Ruby kit at Club Ruby Designers through Crafty Corner. And you can also sign up for a membership at Club Ruby Designers as well. We're just going to trim out the paper that we want to use. Basically want most of these owls and the flowers here to be on the front of my card. So I'm just kind of picking and choosing, and then I want to make sure that I have it small enough to fit on my card, the card front, which is a standard A2 5.5 by 4.25. So we really need to trim it down quite a bit. I'm actually going to trim it here, and I'm still going to use this flower. So I'm really just trimming this out and just trying to decide where I want what to go. I'm going to stick this underneath. Just gives a little bit more separation and interest to the card when you separate out your layers. Even if it's the same piece of paper, you can really separate things out and just give a little more interest. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this down, and then I'm going to use my new Singer handheld sewing machine. I'll show you guys how that works. Glue this down first. So do I want it to go this way? No, I want it to go this way. Alright, so I'm going to line this up at the top edge and then just bring it down. And now what I have is my Singer Stitch So Quick. I just got it, brand new. Absolutely love it. I think it's pretty cool. It's a little tricky, especially if you don't sew. And I'm not a sewer. I don't use a sewing machine, but it's not too bad. So I basically just pulled it out of the box. It holds 4 AA batteries. It's just battery operated. Your bobbin goes right on here. And anyway, I don't know all the parts of a sewing machine and what everything is called, so I'm not even going to pretend like I do. But basically, it can do quick stitching on your crafting projects. And I learned about this when I was out in Minnesota. So all I do is lift up this foot here, put my paper underneath. Alright, and then I'm going to turn this little knob until the paper, or the needle catches in the paper. So just pushing it down in. And then I unlock it. This is a little lock here to make it go or stop. And I just hold the paper steady and move the little handheld stitching machine. Now the thing about this is it's not a very straight line unless you have a really steady hand and you're really good. But I'm just letting it wave and letting it go back and forth and putting real stitches right into my project. Pretty easy, but really cute. I'm so happy that I can finally start stitching in my projects because I just really couldn't get past using my huge sewing machine that I actually have from my grandmother, and I just can't use it. Can't do it. Alright, so there that is. Now I'm going to round the corners of my other piece. I'm going to do the 1/2 inch corner round, and I'm just going to do these 2 sides right here. Just like this. And this will be a little bit more kind of centered. And you can either pop dot it up or glue it straight down. I think I'm going to do pop dots. Do a little bit of dimension. And you can just decide where you want it to be placed. Okay, and now what I want to do is I want to grab one of my stamps. This is from the Hero Arts Friends set. And I have a piece of the paper. This is still one that I scored and cut up to actually do the little rosettes with. But that's okay. I'm going to still use it even though it's scored. It's just going to give me a little bit more texture, which is really cute and fun. I'm going to grab a little bit of my fluid chalk ink in Chestnut Roan. And I'm going to ink the edges. Really quick. I don't need all of this, but we're going to use what I need here. I'm also going to cut into it a little bit. I'm going to make a little flag or a banner kind of thing. So we'll just trim out a little triangle there. Now I can, all right, and then I'm going to use this sentiment that says, "You're one of my nicest thoughts," because with the owls having their eyes closed, I thought it could look like they're, you know, thinking or whatever, and I just thought they were really, really cute. So I'm just going to use the "You're one of my nicest thoughts" little stamp here. Grid block here, and we're going to stamp right on here. I'm going to use some Versamark watermark ink. I'm going to need quite a bit of it. I'm going to make sure this is so really want that good and juicy. And then we're just going to stamp right down in the center. And my white embossing powder. All right. And then I'm just going to heat set this. Alright, and now where this is kind of scored, I'm just going to let that fold over. I'm going to trim this end off. And this is just going to give me a little bit more dimension. I'm going to let this go off the end. So there's going to be a pop dot right here on this far side. And this will help it match up. And then I'm just going to run a strip of ATG along the rest, and as much or as little as you want it to. If you don't want it to come off the end at all, you can just trim it in a little bit more. Totally up to you. I'm going to grab just a dot of glue to make sure this end stays kind of tucked in here. Then what we're going to do is put on our little rosettes. I'm going to do one. They already have pop dots on them, so they're going to have plenty of dimension. And what I like to do is take a little bit of my Viva Decor Pearl Pens. For this one I'm going to use Sunny Yellow, one of my favorites. And this is going to act as the rest of the glue adhesive to dry, so we're going to kind of fill it in a little bit, like open it up and let it fill in, and then kind of close it back together. And it's going to pearl up, and you're going to get a beautiful little gem there right on the inside, that beautiful little pearlized look. So it's so perfect. Can add a little bit more here to the card. And I have an orange one that's already done. I'm going to put it up here on this side. And for this one, I'm going to actually grab a button. Give it just a little bit extra something. Big old bin of buttons here. I'm just going to grab one that's the color of the owl. I'm going to put a drop of my pearl pen in the center. There's still a little bit of glue drying, but that's okay. It'll help the button stick in place. And my pearl pen is also going to act as a glue for the button as well. We'll just press this in. And to kind of give that rosette its finished look of what I want it to be and look like, I'm going to do a little bit of a flourish off of the to make it like kind of like a stem. So I'm just going to do a little tiny little dotted beaded line that's going to just kind of come up and around here. Going to get smaller as I go. I really, really hope that you guys enjoyed this Tuesday tutorial and that you check back often. Don't forget to subscribe and go sign up at clubrubydesigners.com for your own personal profile and also to get involved with some of the classes and extensive things that we'll be teaching over there. Thanks again. Have a great day. Bye-bye.